सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। नमस्कारः, स्वागतं पुनरेकवारम्। अस्मिन् दिने सोमवासरे अस्य सप्ताहस्य प्रथमवर्गः। भोमित्राणि तत्र चत्वारि तन्त्राणि एतावता चत्वारि तन्त्राणि अस्माभिः अधीतानि सन्ति। 4 tantras have been studied by us so far, and we are going to start the 5th and the last tantra in Panchatantra. Panchamam antimam tantram adya prarabhati iti वक्तुं मनसि आनन्दः जायते, यतोहि वयम् एतद् एतं महाग्रन्थं पञ्चतन्त्रनामकं महाग्रन्थम् अपि पूर्णतया तत्र अध्ययनकार्यक्रमः यः स्वीकृतः अस्माभिः स शीघ्रमेव समाप्तिमेष्यति इति मनसि आनन्दः जायते। तत्पूर्वम् एतत् पञ्चमं तन्त्रम् अन्तिमं तन्त्रं पञ्चमं तन्त्रं यस्य नाम अपरीक्षितकारकम् इति वर्तते। कथं वा जीवने जनाः कार्याणि अपरीक्ष्य परीक्षाम् अकृत्वा न कृत्वा यदि कार्याणि कुर्वन्ति जनाः तर्हि कीदृशानि फलानि प्राप्यन्ते, कीदृशानि तत्र कीदृशं कार्यफलं तत्र लभ्यते, एतद् एव अंशं दर्शयितुं तत्र महाकविना तत्र महारचयित्रा विष्णुशर्मणा एतत् तन्त्रं विलिखितं स्यात् इति बहवः चिन्तयन्ति, पंडिताः चिन्तयन्ति। ये ये अंशाः उपरि वर्णितेषु नाम तत्र चतुर्षु अधीतेषु चतुर्षु तन्त्रेषु ये ये अंशाः न स्वीकृताः कदाचित् ते अपि अंशाः अस्मिन् तन्त्रे युक्ताः इति अपि पंडितानां मतमस्ति। अपरीक्षितकारकम् ill-examined action. I am reminded of one famous quotation from Bharavi Mahakavi Bharavi Kiratarjuniya, who has written, very famous, many people know, Sahasa vidadhitana kriyam avivekaha paramapadam padam. This line is worth remembering by us in the beginning of this tantra, Aparikshitakaraka. Sahasa vidadhitana kriyam. Kriyam sahasa na vidadhita, na kurvita iti. No one should do any act in a hurry, sahasa, in hurry. Like we say in English, hurry, burry. What does it mean, hurry, burry? Hurry buries you. If you do actions in hurry, then it lands you in trouble. That is what it means. Hurry, burry. Tvara nashayate karyam. So the sukti coming from Bharavi Mahakavi is Sahasa vidadhitana kriyam avivekaha. Viveka na avivekaha parama apadam padam. Foolishness, rash decision, prompt decision, unthoughtful decision shall land you up in trouble, and that will be the source of great calamities. Parama padam padam. This is the same thing echoed through the stories of this Tantra Aparikshita Karaka. Well, friends, I will read some lines which are also well written in this book for your sake. So before we start off the text, Srinivas, you can show them the text. So here is the Panchatantra, fifth Tantra. Under heightened sentimental impulses or emotional states, human beings tend to or more inclined to engage in ill-considered or rash actions. People, many accidents and incidents do happen, ill-considered rash actions under heightened sentimental impulses, consequences of it. And the consequences of taking such action in a hurry, he has used the word hurry here, it buries you, hurry without knowing the details of the truth are mostly dangerous. So one line of Mahakavi Bharavi puts this tantra in the right track. Sahasa vidhaditana kriyam avivekaha paramapadam padam. One has to pay a heavy price to the haste in one's day-to-day life. Indiscreet or heedless acts result in disaster. I think these two lines are translated from the same Mahakavis. Indiscreet and heedless acts result in disaster. Avivekaha parama padam padam. I think that is the same wording. With this motive, the author Vishnu Sharma ji proceeds with the fifth book entitled as the Aparikshita Karaka or ill-considered action. Ill-considered action. From the structural organizational point of view, this section, Tantra, is distinct from the previous ones inasmuch as there is no framing story as such, but the story of the royal mongoose and the Brahmana's wife may be regarded as the marching point of this Tantra. Though every story appears independently composed for the teaching of some specific lesson, but there is certainly an interconnectedness. Each preceding tale entails the birth, as we have seen in the other tantras. Each preceding tale brings about the birth of the next following one. So a coordination is certainly there, and the basic plan of this section works well. Ill-considered acts lead to damage and destruction. With this central message, this is the central message, the author proceeds to explain and exemplify this fact through various amusing stories. While going through this section, one finds some queer tales told accidentally and also suffering from the defect of repetition or tautology. It appears that the subjects that could not be mentioned, as I told you, are incorporated in the previous tantras, four tantras, have been given here, expression went here. After the stories and after the stories of the barber and the ascetics, the loyal mongoose and the Brahmana's wife, all the stories have been framed as a dialogue between Suvarna Nidhi, Suvarna Siddhi and his friend Chakradhara. Aparikshita Karaka has a quite different situation. This tantra presents as the framing the story, the kind and wise wife of a Brahmana who acts as the teacher narrating both the emboxed stories. This tantra begins with the following poem. Kudushtam kuparignatam kusrutam kuparikshitam tannarena na kartavyam napitenatra yatkrutam. So, narena na kartavyam, man should not do. No man should ever venture to do things kudrushtam, which are seen badly, ill seen, deeds which are ill seen, kuparignatam, not known well, ill known, kushrutam, ill heard, and kuparikshitam, ill examined, should never be acted upon or executed by any man as done by a barber in the story that follows. So, to exemplify this fact of the poem, the story of an inconsiderate barber is told in the Tantra, who out of greed for wealth kills the monks, imitating Manibhadra, another character of a merchant. The story in brief runs as follows. In the southern city of Pataliputra, a merchant whose wealth exhausted through the writ of providence determines to end his life to avoid the humiliation and disrespect at the hands of relatives. The disconsolate merchant, reclined on the bed in the night, sees a dream. In his dream, a mendicant called Padmanidhi, who professes Padmanidhi. Now, very interestingly, this Padmanidhi character is translated by Professor Ryder as Mr. Jewel. Padmanidhi, Jewel, he calls him Jewel. So, this Padmanidhi, who professes to be earned by the forefathers of the merchant. So there comes a character by name Padmanidhi in the dream of this merchant and tells him that I am the, he also calls $1 trillion like Padmanidhi, $1 trillion. Rider says that this $1 trillion is earned by your forefathers and I am there to come to you. So he says, he professes to be earned by who professes to be earned by his forefathers of the merchant, appears. He consoles the merchant and says that tomorrow morning he shall come to his house in the form of a monk, and the merchant will have to hit him hard on his head with a stick. As he will hit, the monk shall turn into an everlasting golden treasure which will stay with him permanently. So it happens so in the morning, a series of events takes place, and a barber witnesses this all. Through the merchant, though the merchant gives the barber valuable gifts and warns him against telling the events to anybody. It so happens that the Padmanidhi who appears in the dream comes to the merchant and merchant identifies him. At the same time, the barber is there to doing some kind of pedicure to his wife, to the wife of the Padmanidhi. So the barber happens to be a witness to the incident where the Padmanidhi hits the monk on his head and the monk turns into gold. And Padmanidhi himself gives him some money not to tell anybody there. So that is what is mentioned here. The monk shall turn, okay. Though the merchant gives the barber valuable gifts and warns him against telling the events to anyone, still the barber is unable to control his greed. He approaches the monastery in his place and then implores the monks to come to his house for accepting various gifts. Firstly, the monks rebuke the barber for his proposal, but afterwards, owing to the greed for gifts, even the monks get ready and accept it. As soon as the monks reach the barber's house, they are taken inside, and then the barber closes the door very gently, and he has already prepared some stick there, and with that stick he hits at their heads. Many of the monks die instantly, while many others receive serious wounds. Royal officials who come to know of this tragic event, because there will be some commotion created, and that commotion is heard by the nearby cops, and they send some people and they arrest them. Then they produce the barber with survived monks in the court. On that, barber's admitting that the crime he did was only the imitation of Manibhadra, the merchant. The merchant is also summoned immediately by the court. Manibhadra honestly apprises the court of his dream. The judges pronounce his impalement. He is hanged till death. Through the story, so the barber is put to death. The dangers of disastrous results of ill-conceived aparikshita or rash action have been explained. It has also been suggested that nothing should be done without a proper prior examination. It should be done only after a careful examination, else it leads to repentance. To substantiate this instruction, the story of a loyal mongoose and the Brahmana's wife, Brahmani, is further narrated. In the story, a Brahmana entitled called Deva Sharma and his wife live in certain city. The Brahmana's wife gives birth to a son, and the same day, a young mongoose is also born in their house. The female mongoose, yes, the female mongoose dies out of labor pains. Yeah, the female. So it so happens that the Brahmani gives a birth to a son. The same time, mongoose gives a birth to baby, and then immediately the mongoose, female mongoose dies. So the Brahmana's wife takes pity and rears the young mongoose by feeding and attending to its nourishment. But due to the evil instinct of its species, mongoose is so the Brahmani, the wife of the Brahmana, never reposes confidence in the mongoose. The Brahmana's wife remains apprehensive all the time for the safety of her own son. One day it so happens, having laid his son, her son, down on the bed to sleep and taking the pitcher to fetch water from the pond, she entrusts her husband with the job of caring of the child. Leaving the house unattended and unguarded, that Brahmana too moves out for begging. Now, wife goes for some work and then entrusting the work to the husband, and husband goes for begging. Meanwhile, a black cobra appears and thinking it to be its natural enemy, the mongoose fights with the snake and cuts it into pieces. We know this is Sahaja Vaira. There is a Sahaja Vaira between the mongoose and the snake. With its mouth smeared with blood, when the mongoose kills the snake, black cobra that enters into the house, and also sensing that it may harm the child, the mongoose mouth is smeared with blood. The mongoose goes before the mother to display its feet. Poor mongoose goes to show the mother who has reared it, to show that it has saved saved the child. The suspicious mother, thinking that the mongoose has certainly killed her son, dashes the water filled. She went to get the water, so she dumps the water, that pot and pitcher down upon that poor mongoose, and the mongoose dies. While she rushes inside the house, she finds the child just as she had left him, and also the snake killed there. A snake turned into pieces and scattered near the bed. Due to killing her, son-like mongoose now, she starts crying. This Brahmani starts crying and beating her breast. Meanwhile, the Brahmana arrives there with begging alms, comes back and is harshly rebuked by his wife for his excess of greed. So the Brahmani accuses the husband, why did you leave the house when I told you to take care of the child? And as a result, I mistook the mongoose to have harmed my child, and then in the process, mongoose is killed. So this is where uh, the sloka comes here. Atilobhona kartavyaha lobham naiva parityajit atilobhabhibhutasya chakram brahmati mastake. So another story we go in the process there. Atilobha should not be too much greed. One should not indulge in too much greed. Neither should one forsake it altogether. So one should strike a balance. One should not be too greedy. At the same time, one should not be free from greed as such. A disc wills over the head of one overpowered by excessive. So whoever is Atilobi, a disc wills over the head of the person. Now, the next story has its origin in the above verse that cautions against excessive greed and its afflicting aftermath. In brief, the story runs like this. Four adolescent Brahmana boys, four adolescent Brahmana boys live as thick friends, fast friends in some city, highly afflicted with their indigence. One day, they assemble and discuss how to get rid of this wretchedness, poverty. They decide to move to some foreign land to earn money. They depart and reach the famous city of Mahakala, Ujjain. Having taken their bath and prostrated before the deity of Lord Shiva, as they come out of the temple, they find an accomplished ascetic before them. They accompany him to his abbey, to his monastery, the Mata. When asked, the boys apprise the ascetic of their intention regarding earning plenty of riches by any possible means. They express before the monk their firm resolution, saying, Vayam siddhi yatrikaha tatra yasyamo yatra dhanaptihi dhana aptihi mrutyurva bhavishyati tyesha nichayaha. So we have started on journey of earning wealth and will go to any destination. We are firmly determined to acquire riches or, even sacrifice our lives also. So this is the story. I cut short here. What is it? What the Brahmana, yeah, we can take on this. I will read very fast, 621. The Brahmana boys request the ascetic to suggest any measure for earning riches. So they request the ascetic to give some suggestion how to earn from entering a cavern of proposition of the female demon, from selling a human. So they say we are prepared to do anything, entering a cavern of proposition of the female demon, Shakini, or from selling human flesh, or resorting to some cremation ground for attaining miraculous power, or to employment magical wicks. The ascetic provides them 4 magical wicks that possess extraordinary powers and instruct them to move in the direction of the Himalayas. He also instructs them that whosoever these magical wicks fall from their hands, the ground there is to dig. So whoever loses the magical wick from the hand, then they should dig up that land. And taking that treasure, they are supposed to return from that place. The boys proceed ahead northward with these magical wicks. En route, the magical wicks falls from one's hand and he digs the ground as instructed by the monk. There they find copper. The boy from whose hands the magic wick fell persuades the 3 friends to dig out copper at will, but they dissuade him. The first boy takes copper as much as he could and returns home. Returns home. Rest of them proceed with their wicks in hands, of course, and another magic wick falls from the hand of second boy. When he digs the ground there, he finds silver to his surprise. Then he persuades the other 2 to also dig for them, but they don't. The second boy returns with plenty of silver taking with him. The 2 boys now left proceed ahead with the magic wick, and when the magic wick falls from the hand of the third boy, he finds there gold, which he requests his 4th friend to also dig for himself, take for himself, but he doesn't take. The third boy also returns with gold as much as he could take from that digging. The 4th boy now, who is only the left one, the last one, who expected more precious gems ahead, proceeds alone. The third friend sits at the place where gold was obtained and waits for his 4th companion. So the third boy will be waiting for receiving the 4th boy. The 4th boy, trudging alone, going alone, having a body heated by the sultry sun, wanders here and there in search of water. Then his wick doesn't fall, but he becomes very thirsty, and then he goes in search of water. He strays from the path. Then he somehow he strays from the path. He loses the path, and safe for the seekers of accomplishment. While wandering, he notices a person with a revolving discus overhead. Then, when he misses the path of his friend, then he comes across, in the pursuit of water, search of water, one person over whose head he approaches the person, and then this disc, it is then I have read it, he strays the frog. He notices a person with a revolving discus overhead. So one chakra will be rotating over his head. As he approaches that person and asks the reason of the discus whirling overhead, and also a trace of drinking water, he also asks him for water. The discus shifts instantly when he goes near to that person on whose head the chakra is revolving, and asks him for water and where the way, about the way. And then the moment he talks to him, that discus comes over to this boy instantly on the head of this boy, fourth Brahmana boy. The relief now that person on whose head this discus chakra was revolving is relieved now. He is very relieved. Now the relieved person tells that only when somebody with the same magic wick comes and talks with him, the discus would come down. So how would the discus chakra would come down? Only when some other person comes with the same magical wick and talks to him, only then it will disappear. That person alone informs him of his arrival there when King Rama ruled the earth. According to that person, this device has been employed by Kubera to protect his treasure from those possessing magical work. So he says that nobody visit the place for the fear of this whirling. So you have come to a wrong place. He is told that this area is protected by Kubera, etc. So your emancipation, moksha is very far off now. As the fourth boy does not turn back, now fourth boy is arrested there. If he moves, then Chakra will may cut his head also. He does not turn back even after much time. The third friend, following the footsteps, approaches him and inquires about the series of events. Then he inquires with the series of events. Third boy has no the disc, I mean that in his hand disc. So he goes there and talks to him. The fourth friend with the whirling discus, he talks to him over his head, relates the account and curses his fate. So this is Atiloba. When a copper, when one friend was satisfied with copper, the second one was satisfied with silver, and the third one was gold. The fourth thought he would be getting diamonds or rubies going ahead, but he landed up in trouble. So this is Atiloba. So the fourth friend with the whirling discus over his head relates the account and curses his fate. The third friend who had obtained gold uh, berates him and says that despite the scholarship, he lacks practical intellect. So he taunts him. You have scholarship but no practical wisdom there, intellect. And also that good sense is superior to learning. So common sense, good sense means common sense is superior to learning. So there are so many stories here in this Aparikshita Karaka where common sense is highlighted, Srinivas. If there is no common sense, one may be highly learned, but with no common sense, it is of no use. Varam buddhir nasa vidya vidyayaha buddhir uttama. Buddhihina vinashyanti yathate simhakarakaha. So this is the most wonderful story that we will be reading. Varam buddhihi, it is better to have buddhi, nasa vidya, but not that learning. Vidyayaha buddhir uttama. What is superior to learning and intelligence? Intelligence, common sense is very superior. So that is what the poem says. From this story onwards, the following stories have been framed through the mutual dialogue of the two friends. Now, the two friends that Suvarna Nidhi, Siddhi, the disc boy, can say, the one who obtained gold, sorry, Suvarna Siddhi, and Chakradhara, the fourth boy with the disc over his head. See, beautifully named. Suvarna Siddhi, one who has got the Suvarna, and Chakradhara is not Chakradhara, Lord Krishna, but here is a different. On noticing Chakradhara experiencing the poignant agony with a bloody, stained body, Suvarna Siddhi curses him a lot for not complying with his counsels. Now, to say the superiority of common sense over the scholarship, Suvarna Siddhi relates the story of three Brahmanas adept in Shastras but deprived of common sense. This is the one of the famous stories here. Here are two stories entitled Simhakaraka, Murka Brahmana, Traya Katha, and Murka Pandita Katha have been related to explain to the princess Niti of practical wisdom, and it's having an edge over the spiritual learning, scriptural learning in day-to-day life. So the stories reveal in an amusing manner the truth that all those persons become the subject of ridicule who, despite their expertise in scriptural or bookish knowledge, lack in common sense or practical wisdom. Api shastreshu kushalaha lokachara vivarjitaha. Api shastreshu kushalaha loka achara vivarjitaha. Sarve te hasyatam yanti yatha te murkha panditaha. So one may be very kushala in Shastra, but loka achara vivarjitaha rahitaha, without the common sense of the societal common sense, they all go to become laughing stocks. That is what. So on his friends preaching thus, Chakradhara says that for such things in life, there is not necessarily any proper cause or adequate reason. Rather, it happens due to the adversity of fate. So the Chakradhara gives the credit to fate because of his fate is like that. If destiny favors, even people with lesser intelligence enjoy the pleasures of life. Prior to relating the story of the two fishes and a frog, Chakradhara mentions the predominance of destiny through the verse given below. Arakshitam tishtati daivarakshitam surakshitam daivhatam vinashati. This is what we studied in Mitra Veda also, Srinivas. Mitra Veda, kind of where the Sanjivaka was left in the jungle all alone, and then it survives. That is so. That is the translation. Is human effort superior or fate is predominant? This question has time and again been discussed in Panchatantra. Panchatantra, you can up the page, Srinivas. Yeah. Back in the second book entitled Acquisition of Friends, we find this discourse in the statements of Hiranyaka and Mantharaka. After this exposition of the predominance of destiny by Chakradhara, Suvarna Siddhi, the friend, explains the importance of suggestions of friends. He suggests that sometimes friendly advices must be complied with. Who loves to bray in the he further relates the story of that inconsiderate donkey who loves to bray in the cucumber field, even dissuaded strongly from doing so by the jackal, and is belabored and humiliated. Convinced by this, friends, Dio deontological preachings, Chakradhara admits that one must possess practical wisdom, as one who does not have this or who does not follow the advice of his friends is much susceptible to dangers or destruction. Yasya nasti swayam prajna mitroktam na karoti yaha. So one who has no intelligence of his own, nor one does follow the suggestions of his friend. Sa eva nidhanam yati yatha mantara kaulikaha. So he goes to damnation. He then proceeds with the story of a weaver and relates how that bemused, befundled, and misled poor weaver, owing to his wife's ill advice, meets this miserable end. Then comes an amusing story of a Brahmana lost in daydreams who breaks the pitcher filled with gram powder. The message in this story is that one should not build castles in the air. This story is related by Chakradhara. Further, Suvarna Siddhi consoles him, his friend Chakradhara, that he was not to be blamed for his wretchedness, as even great men, mocked or deceived by greed, are seen suffering owing to their covetousness. He relates the story of that unforgiving monkey. Where is it missing? Yeah, who avenges himself on the king, the killer of that monkey's kith and kin. The story contains various broad messages, namely, over covetedness leads to disastrous results, as happened with the monkeys in the beginning of the story and with the king's family at the last. So greed must be avoided. One should, secondly, always comply with the advices of experienced and old people, as they are advantageous in result. Their suggestions many times prevent us from getting indulged in embroilments. Thirdly, wrongs or damages caused by others must be replied. One should act wickedly towards a wicked man, tit for tat like. Krute pratikrutam kuryat himsite pratihimsitam na tatra dosham pashyami yo duste dustamacharit. So, as one acts towards you, so you should pay him back. That is what. Next. Then I will skip a little part, 625. This section, I am reading from here, below. This section ends with the story of a Brahmana and a crab in his companion, while on his way to a foreign land, having heard the story from Chakradhara, Suvarna Siddhi takes his leave and departs for his native place. The concluding verse is highly sententious in its import. Mantre tirte dvije deve daivagne bheshaje gurau yadrushi bhavana yasya siddhir bhavati tadrushi. Now, this last line is often quoted line in Sanskritic circles. Yadrushi bhavana yasya siddhir bhavati tadrushi. So, whatever type of, one has bhavana, one a man feeling, thought has, and the outcome will be like, with regard to mantra, tirtha, dvija, deva, daivagna, bheshaja, and guru. We'll see that more elaborately. If a person trusts the above mentioned seven with fairness and honesty, he is certainly rewarded with his desired fruit. It is the faith only that fructifies everyone in this temporal world. The overwhelming predominance of this Panchatantra, last paragraph, show them. The overwhelming predominance of this Tantra is distinct from the fact that in most of the Indian universities and traditional teaching institutes, Aparikshita Karaka is prescribed in the curriculum just to instill the core universal human values in the minds of the young generation and make youths good human beings with all-round success and joy in their lives. This is the introductory part. In nutshell, we have covered the what all this tantra is to offer us. Srinivas, now we can begin the actual tantra, Aparikshita Karaka.
अथ पंचतंत्रस्य अपरीक्षितकारकं नाम पंचमं तंत्रम् अथ इदम् आरभ्यते अपरीक्षितकारकं नाम पंचमं तंत्रं यस्य अयम् आदिमः श्लोकः कुदृष्टं कुपरिज्ञातं कुश्रुतं कुपरीक्षितं तन्नरेण न कर्तव्यं नापि तेनात्र यत्कृतम्.
So here we come to the text, which begins here. Aparikshita Karakam. Aparikshita Karakam. Karakam, an action. Karyam. Aparikshita, na parikshita. No, not examined properly. Ill, that is what we say, ill examined action. Ill thought action leads to problem. Atha idam arabhyate aparikshita karakam nama panchamam tantram yasya ayam adimaha sloka. This is the first sloka of this beginning of the tantra. Kudrustam. Kudrustam. Ill seen. Ku means bad in Sanskrit, Ku. Bhojanam ku bhojanam. Not seen properly. So, whenever we see things, we should see positively. We should see clearly. A thing which is not seen well, you cannot take a decision on that. kuparignatam. And superignatam na, not known well, known badly, badly known, not understood very well. Even then you should not venture to do any act. Kushrutam, badly heard. You have not heard properly from a right source. We hear so many things in society, but they may be kushrutam also. There may be rumors also. Unless we hear something from the right person, from the right authority, we cannot take a decision. If somebody says, how can we take it for granted? And similarly, kuparikshitam, badly examined. So, ill seen, ill known, badly heard, badly examined things. Tat narena na kartavyam. This man should not do. Man should not take a decision after listening, after seeing something badly, something wrongly, something incompletely, something not knowing completely, something heard not authentically, something not examined properly. Tat narena na kartavyam. Then what happens, one may ask, what if one does kudrustam, kuparignatam, then napitena, a barber, like atra yat krutam, then it will be like the barber who did out of greed. Because he saw something, he did not understand it. There kudrustam, that is. And also the second word also applies to napita, kuparignatam. He did not understand properly that. Kushrutam is not there. Kuparikshitam, he did not examine that also. So these three things apply to the napita, the barber. The barber did not see it properly, did not know it properly, did not examine that incident properly, and on the other hand, he himself wanted to imitate and make money by inviting the monks and hitting them on the head and killing them, and finally he goes to the gallows. Yes, Srinivas.
तद् यथा अनुश्रूयते अस्ति दक्षिणात्ये जानपदे पाटलीपुत्रं नाम नगरम् तत्र मणिभद्रो नाम श्रेष्ठी प्रतिवसति स्म तस्य च धर्मार्थकाममोक्षकर्माणि कुर्वतः विधिवशात् धनक्षयः सञ्जातः ततः विभवक्षयात् अपमान परंपरया परं विषादं गतः अथ अन्यदा रात्रौ सुप्तः चिन्तितवान् अहो धिगियं दरिद्रता उक्तं च.
So the story opens like this. Tad yatha anusruyate. It is heard. Traditionally, the story is being heard, told by elders, etc. Asti, there was Dakshinatye Janapadi, in the southern part of the country, region, Pataliputram Nama Nagaram. There was a city by name Pataliputra. Tatra Manibhadraha Nama Sreshthi Prativasatisma. There was a merchant called Manibhadra. As I said, Professor Ryder very nicely calls him Jewel, Manibhadra. There lived a person by name Jewel. I would not call Jewel, just for your information I am giving. So Manibhadra lived there. Tasyacha dharma artha kama moksha karmani. He was a merchant and he used to do several activities, religious activities like dharma artha kama moksha karmani. He indulged in, overindulged perhaps, kurvataha, while he was doing. Vidhivashat, because of his bad luck, vidhivashat dhanakshayah sanjataha. If anybody who indulges in dharma karya has to spend a lot of money. To do dharma, one needs artha, isn't it, Srinivas? But he was doing several activities here. So, as a result of this dhanakshayah sanjataha, his money was, his money was spent, lost, and he came to naught. Balance came to naught. Tataha, thereafter, vibhavakshayat, dhanakshayat, because of the you know, what is
Charity.
shortcomings. What is that?
Charity.
Yeah, because of over charities, shortcoming of his wealth. Apamana paramparaya. You know, what is, see how our society has been through the ages. When a man spends for dharmakarya, then he will be praised. The same man, when he loses his money, then he will be laughed at. See, in the case of this man, Vibhavakshayat, because of Dhanakshayat, Apamana Paramparaya, he was subject to a series of insults. Param Vishadam Gata. Naturally, one would become highly disappointed, dejected. Param Vishadam Gata. He became highly dejected when he was put to series of insults. Atha, then, Anyada, Ratrau. So what happened? One night, Suptaha, he slept. Having slept, Chintitavan, he thought in his home, Aho, Dik, Iyam Daridrata, this shame on this poverty. He was fed up. Uktam cha.
शीलं शौचं क्षान्तिः दाक्षिण्यं मधुरताकुले जन्म न विराजन्ति हि सर्वे वित्तविहीनस्य पुरुषस्य.
So then, because a man who has undergone that suffering, that experience, who has got that experience of living a moneyed life, a rich life, and becoming a poor man, only can say this. Having experienced riches and then coming to the poverty, what will be the condition of a person like Sheelam? Then he says character, Shaucham, cleanliness, Kshantihi, forgiveness, Dakshinyam, charity, Madhurata, soft spokenness, sweet spokenness, Kule Janma, birth in a noble family, Na virajanti hi sarve. All these don't matter, don't shine literally, they don't shine. Sheelam na virajate, Shaucham na virajate, Shantihi na virajate, Dakshinyam na virajate, Madhurata na virajate, Satkule Janma, Unnata Kule Janma api na virajate, na virajanti hi sarve. I think viraja is Atmanepada, but here it is used there. Kavi Prayoga we cannot say. Na virajanti hi sarve. Vittahinasya purushasya. Vittahinasya purushasya sheelam na virajate. If a man has lost his money and become poor, then however good character he may be, then people don't care for him. Then people don't care for his piety. People don't care for his shanti, for his forgiveness. People don't care for his charity. People don't care for his nice talk. People don't even care for his being born in a noble family, good family. Because the only factor, vittahinasya purushasya. Naiva pashyamyantaram mrutasya daridrasya. Like Mruchakatika says, Srinivas. Naiva pashyamyantaram nirdhanasya mrutasya cha. See, the same thing happens here. I don't see any difference between a nirdhanasya, between a poor man and a mrutasya, dead man. And it is more strongly said in that Nataka, Srinivas. There is no difference between a dead person and a poor man. A poor man lives a dead life. That is his next poem.
मानो वा दर्पो वा विज्ञानं विभ्रमस्व बुद्धिर्वा सर्वं प्रणश्यति समं वित्तविहीनो यदा पुरुषः.
Then what happens when man becomes vittahinaha, dhanahinaha, nirdhanaha, when he becomes manova, neither either mana, self-respect, darpaha, pride, vijnanam is knowledge, vibhramaha, you can say grace, vibhrama means grace, subuddhirva or good intellect, sarvam pranashyati, everything goes bad. Samam, sarvam pranashyati samam, vittahino yada purushaha. So when yada purushaha vittahinaha bhavati, when man becomes moneyless, when man becomes a, what do you call, insolvent. I'm searching for that word. When man becomes insolvent, uh, without wealth, all his good qualities like self-respect, pride, knowledge, grace, intelligence, sarvam pranashyati, everything perish along with him. Samam, tena samam. Samam, I think we can take here with tena samam, along with him. Vitta vihina purushena samam. Ete sarvepi gunaha api pranashyanti. Everything equally, or equally, everything equally perishes along with you. Yes, sir.
प्रतिदिवसं याति लयं वसन्तवाताहतेव शिशिरश्रीः बुद्धिर्बुद्धिमतामपि कुटुम्बभरचिन्तया सततम्
He is so anguished, so much troubled. So, from Shoka, these slokas are coming from this Mani Bhadra, that merchant who has been put to so much of a series of humiliation. Parampara, the word is used, who got apamana parampara he had to face. So he says, Sarvam pranashyati samam, along with the money, everything goes, he said earlier. Now in this poem, Prati Divasam, every day, Prati Dinam, Layam Yati, goes to damnation. Vasanta Vatahateva Shishira Shri, like Shishira Rutoho Shrihi Saundaryam. Shishira Rutoho Shrihi Nama Sundarata. Pratidinam Vasanta Vatahata Iva, struck by the Vasanta Kala, the winds of the spring season. The beauty of the winter is as the beauty of the winter is marred by the breeze of the spring season. Every day it goes down, the beauty goes down. Pratidinam layam yati. Yatha shishirashrihi vasanta vata vatena hata iva. Vatena hata hateva pratidinam pratidivasam layam yati. Buddhihi buddhimatam api. In the similar manner, buddhimatam panditanam api buddhihi kutumba varachintaya satatam layam yati. Even the intelligence of the highly intelligent people goes to damnation. Kutumba bharachintaya, with the thought of maintaining the family. Satatam kutumba bharachintaya, kutumba poshana chintaya. Srinivas. So it is like this. Even the great, highly intelligent people, talented people, not having money, not having money, not having enough deposits, then they also suffer. They also suffer. Like what their buddhi also goes down, like the beauty of the winter season is marred by the winds of the spring season, etc. Supporting Srinivas.
नश्यति विपुलमतेरपि बुद्धिः पुरुषस्य मन्दविभवस्य घृतलवणतैलतण्डुलवस्त्रे धनचिन्तया सततम्
Almost the same idea is echoed here. Nashyati vipula vipulam vipula matehe api buddhihi. Vipula matehe, large, enlarged, highly intelligent. Vipula mati, vipula buddhehe. Vipula buddhehe api buddhihi nashyati. The intellect of even the highly or enlarged, highly highly intelligent people. I am trying to put it, Vipulamati, greatly intelligent, Srinivas. The intellect of even the greatly intelligent person also, Nashyati, Purushasya. Vipulamatehe Purushasya Buddhihi api Nashyati. Due to what? Manda vibhavasya. Manda vibhavah. Mandah vibhavah yasya saha. Tadrushasya purushasya. Vitta rahitasya. Manda lupta dhanasya. You can say. Manda vibhavasya means lupta dhanasya. A man who has lost his money. Ghruta lavana taila tandula vastre indhana chintaya satatam. And he will be always, his buddhi will be carried, lost in things, thinking about ghruta, in ghee, lavana taila tandula vastre indhana chintaya. Always thinking about, even such an highly intelligent Vipulamati also will be forced to think about how to live, how to buy ghee, even salt, taila, tandula, vastra, indhana, chintaya, and fuel. These are all. That means he will be forced to think of the basic necessities of the life. Even though highly intelligent, without money, he will be only thinking how to get along with my day-to-day life. Yes.
गगनमिव नष्टतारं शुष्कमिव सरः श्मशानमिव रौद्रम् प्रियदर्शनमपि रूक्षं भवति गृहं धनविहीनस्य.
So, what will be the, how will be the house of a man who has lost money? Dhanavihinasya. Dhanavihinasya, dhanarahitasya, dhanashunyasya, luptadhanasya. Gruham kidrusham bhavati. Gaganamiva nastataram. Like the sky without the, imagine the sky without the stars. His house will be like a sky without the stars. There will be no beauty. So to say, house will be empty. How empty, how shunya it will be, like the gagana, tara rahitam gaganam iva. Shushkam eva saraha, like a lake, dried lake. Lake is beautiful to look only when there is water. A house is beautiful only when there are people and things are moving. Shushkam eva saraha, like a dry lake. Smashanam eva raudram, like a raudram, horrible, horrid cremation ground. Nobody will be there in the cremation ground. Only people will be there during the act, that is Antyashti performed, and afterwards it will be completely desolated, deserted. Smashanameva raudram. So it will give a very raudra picture. Priya darshanamapi ruksham. Then, though his house is good, but it looks ruksham, very, very dry, unpleasant. Priya darshanamapi gruham ruksham bhavati. Gruham bhavati dhanavihinasya. Dhanavihinasya gruham evam bhavati. Priya darshanamapi gruham ruksham drishyate. Gaganamiva nastataram gaganamiva drishyate. Shushkamiva saraha iva drishyate. Raudram smashanamiva drishyate. Dhanavihinasya. Yeah. One more poem we can do it. Yeah, last poem, Srinivas.
Yes, sir. न विभाव्यन्ते लघवो वित्तविहीना परोऽपि निवसन्तः सततं जातविनष्टाः पयसामिव बुद्बुदाः पयसी.
So in this poem, the writer says, na vibhavyanti, na lakshyanti, are not seen, are not given importance, vibhavyanti, are not observed or seen, lakshyanti. Lagavaha vitta vihinaha. Lagavaha means when they are, like, Lagavaha means here, lagu means insignificant. When people without money, dhanavihinaha, lagavaha eva drishyante, they become insignificant. Vitta vihinaha lagavaha. People without money, when they are, become insignificant, na vibhavyante na lakshante. When people become moneyless, they are no more identified by people, recognized by the people around. That is the idea. Puropi nivasanta, even though they are living before you, staying before you. It is like a moneyless man, a moneyed man only become moneyless man, a poor man, standing before our own rich people's eyes. The rich people do not see him, recognize him. For them, he is non-existent. That is the word there. Puropi nivasantaha. Those staying right before our eyes. Na vibhavyanti, na lakshanti, not observed. Why? Because they have become lagavaha vitta vihina. They have become inferior because of the moneyless. Just like in big gatherings, let us imagine, Srinivas, if there is a big program going on, a poor man, who cares for the beggar? Who cares for a poor man, poorly dressed man for that matter? Satatam jata vinashtaha payasamiva budbudaha payasi. Now he is given like the budbudaha, like the bubbles on the water. How the bubbles on the water are born and they disappear. Jata vinashtaha, they are born and vinashtaha. Always. Payasamiva jalanamiva budbudaha. Payasamiva budbudaha payasi. Like of the waters. Like the bubbles on the waters are born and in no time they get burst out. In the same way, poor men don't deserve notice in the society. They can't be seen. They are not seen. They are not cared. They are ignored. That is all. We can stop here.
Thank you, sir.
Shubham
Namaskar.
Bhuyat.